that set them up is you now see them, but it's set up in just such a way that you know that they're meat
for the slaughter.
Because there's like literally like a scene where before any killing starts, where you maybe see Jason like at the edge of the woods with like a machete, or you see like a Dracula, like perched on top of a cathedral or something like that. You know, where you know that that's going to happen, but it doesn't happen yet.
Which is what I kind of liked about Hostel, is that it broke the formula, which was, I mean, the first half of the movie is essentially like a college, you know, R-rated comedy type of movie.
And Hostel 2 actually was that.
Whereas it just like goes and then boom, it's like, and then it becomes, but it's not like where you have the normal sequence of events.
And then I'll go back to the equation, and then you have the moment where you get what is basically what everybody in the audience wants. Because the people who wrote this, they understood that the audience actually wanted the person who was bad to do what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And that's what they wanted. They wanted Dracula killing people, you know, seducing women and, you know, killing people. They wanted, you know, Jason cutting people's heads off with a knife. That's what they want. So there's a period now, which is actually the longest section of the film, usually running from about a third of the way into the film to all past the three-quarter mark.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
Where you have this sort of triumph of the villain. Where you get to gloriously revel in all things bad and naughty they're doing.
Yeah.
And then you hit what is, you know, the moment when usually it's the last survivor.
Right.
Usually it's the last survivor or something.
And then they kill off.
And then they kill them off.
Yeah.
And that's how it's repeated. It's you know what
is gonna happen
once in general. I mean, there's a few exceptions.
Whereas, like I said, Hostel just totally breaks that. The first one breaks that just whole structure.
Well, yeah.
And not only that, I mean, the ending. I mean, particularly if you saw the original intended ending. Have you seen that one?
No.
Where he kidnaps the guy's daughter instead of killing him.
I've heard of the madness.
Oh, it's so much more fucked up.
Oh.
And I actually was more satisfied with that version. Although I thought that the ending that's in the theaters was a fun ending, where he got to cut off the same number of the guy's hands as the other guy did, but I still felt like...
Well, I thought the actual ending of what it is in the theater was incredibly satisfying.
It was satisfying, but it didn't fit as demented. It felt more... That one felt more like the traditional structure of a horror film, where you have to have that, you know, sort of last thing, whereas the guy just like kidnaps girl.
But I mean, Hostel is I think I would put it on a slightly higher level than particularly most 80s slasher films. I mean, I have to think about how many tons of 80s slasher films there were. Actually, I think once you get down to it, you'll actually find there's like more of them that were bad than Hammer films that were bad.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some Hammers
that weren't that great, but yeah, and even with the over-the-top acting coming from basically the people who were not the four main guys who...
Oh yeah, it's pretty much all the British like stage actors and basically tried to be like Shakespearean histrionics and like horror, and it just didn't work. They were like, oh my lord, it's bloody Dracula, and he has risen from... They always said the movie's title.
Yeah.
I never noticed that. There was always some like random guy be like, oh my god, Dracula's risen from the grave. Then like this, and then it would pop up.
Yeah.
That's actually one thing they didn't do with the later slasher, which I thought would have been interesting. They'd be like, Freddy, oh my god, it's Freddy's new nightmare.
It's like, Freddy's dead. Or like, Jason, oh no, it's Jason Voorhees, and he's going to hell.
Well, Jason must be going to Manhattan, because he's not here.
Because he really wasn't. I mean, it's like, what, 10 or 20 minutes he's actually in Manhattan?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Like, isn't this Jason is coming to Manhattan or Jason goes
to Manhattan?
Yeah, it's that. It's the fact that it. What I think is funny is the way that they also tend to have ironic
titles
and ironic humor.
Yes.
Most people don't understand that they really weren't meant to be taken that seriously.
Yeah.
Hammer, I think people take it a little more seriously just because of the way it's shot.
And that, yeah, it's definitely both being beautiful and also the set that they got.
Right.
That
whereas,
in a period sort of way too, and emphasized.
Like Mother's Day, or
which is getting remade,
or Shocker.
I still haven't seen Shocker. I need to.
But Stepfather, which has already been remade.
Been remade as a PG-13 movie. Or Prom Night.
Yeah, or Prom Night, which I
which again was remade as a PG-13.
I saw the unrated version of it.
But it was only 1 minute they added.
Yeah, and it wasn't much, I don't think, because it was only 1 minute. Which that's the other thing, is we need to talk about that, is, when talking about horror and talking about this, it's almost like an added thing that we talked about is the revitalization
of horror.
Particularly 80s
style.
And it's actually become to the point where it's actually really terrible.
Yeah.
Some of it's really good.
It's like, what's ironic is it's usually the ones that are like labeled torture porn.
Or zombies Halloween.
That's even been called torture porn.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
I actually considered it to be pretty
straightforward slasher.
Well, the first one, I guess because of the psychological elements. In fact, they delved a lot more into Michael Myers' psychology. Because there's where we go is the influence of mainstream thrillers.
Yeah.
This actually is an more interesting conversation. Now I can just turn this into an overriding thing about horror.
Yeah.
Is influence of mainstream thrillers on modern non-mainstream horror.
Yeah.
Take for instance, Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Here you have the movie like Halloween.
Yeah, the remake that Zombie did. Yeah.
The reimagining. Is what I prefer to say, and I think it's what even he says and what John Carpenter says. It's a reimagining, not a remake.
And I know that Carpenter has even said he liked his version better than the original.
Is you have John Carpenter's, in which it's actually very
simple.
Very simple, and it's actually pretty similar to the Hammer mode that was set up. Is you have
an ultimate evil.
An ultimate evil, just because Dracula is slightly more sophisticated than Michael Myers doesn't change the fact that he's a shape.
Yeah.
So John Carpenter always said Michael Myers should be he's not even a person really. He's a shape.
Mm-hmm.
He's a thing that's, at the back of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you now have Michael Myers in Halloween.
Yeah.
And Michael Myers in Halloween is much more human.
Yeah.
Much more humanized, and what's interesting about what Rob Zombie did is, unlike, say, the new Hannibal movie, it didn't make him sympathetic.
Yeah.
That's why I think Rob Zombie is probably revitalizing the horror genre even more than ironic. You see, if Rob Zombie managed to remake Halloween, make Michael Myers sympathetic, which no one had ever done before.
Yeah.
And at the same time, make it to where there was not a single shred of anything to like about it. Nothing. It wasn't even like it. I mean, it showed like he had a shitty life. Showed all the stuff that served as functioning explanations. But if you actually look at the character, it's like Alex DeLarge.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason why he is what he is. There maybe is things that are messed up, certain things that are humanistic in humanization, but Michael Myers in Halloween, the new Halloween, there's nothing to like about it. Yeah. Even as a little boy, he was a sadistic evil monster. But what Rob Zombie did is, I am going to show you that even that sadistic little monster is human.